Hello, everyone. Let me just check if my sound is on. It is. I'm brilliant. All right. Welcome to Dice on Ice. My name is Megan, and we are back into the depths of the Death House. And since no one wanted to do a recap, I will, and I will punish them for it in the future. So when we first kind of started up, you guys were in the midst of fighting this piece of armor that was going after the Everchild, and you guys, I think it was Oskar that pushed it over the banister. It fell to the floor, and then it disappeared for some reason. And then Oskar got attacked by a rug and almost died. And then there was a bunch of other rug-related shenanigans, and but eventually you guys defeated the rug. And you walk into this spare room, and you see a figure laying on the bed, and that figure is Korla, who had found herself just this really odd, these memories, that almost just like flashes of her being laid on this almost altar type thing, and these people around her, but then there was this dark, mysterious figure that seemed to save her, maybe, or at least distracted the other, these mysterious hooded figures. And then Korla woke up in the bed in front of a very shocked group. And then we ended with Fel and Eli and Oskar, I believe, discovering a secret switch that, when pressed, opened up a door where Korla was found, and showed stairs leading upwards. And the sound of laughter was heard. And that is where we ended. And so we're going to begin, but we're going to begin in a different area. We see a priest dressed in white, fine linens and robes, and the robes are accented by green. Oh, hello. By green, this green decoration. And, he stands up in front of this crowd, and he begins by burning this bowl of these plants. And he takes the ash of it, and he smudges it in these intricate patterns on his face. And he turns to the crowd, eagerly awaiting for his word. And he holds his hands out high. May the light of the Mother shine upon you, brothers and sisters. Give us strength as we carry the sun of salvation in our hearts, in this life and the next. Boom! Boom! The sound of doors creaking under the immense weight of the battering ram drowns out desperate pleas of men and women and children who are inside. Pious prayers and chanting turn to screams as the door cannot withstand the force. May your face shine down upon us. We believe that the seeds of prayer we plant today will yield a harvest of blessings in our lives, our hearts, our spirits, and our minds. The air is choked with smoke and heat. Tapestries become crimson wisps of fluttering fire. A woman is held down by these monstrous creatures as she desperately grasps at the legs of a chair, trying to hold on, trying to stay within the confines of this church. But her legs are ripped apart as each of these monsters take a hold and force her to let go. The sound of crunching bones. And then the screams stop. Help us to be aware of the quiet beauty of the night, the fresh green growth on trees, and all the plants and songs of birds. We give thanks for all of these to you, Shantea. The priest kneels in front of these monstrous creatures along with hooded figures. He is weeping. His tears are not of piousness. They're not of fear, but of guilt. Of guilt of letting in the evil, of guilt of his own weakness as he begs for his life. And then his hands are grabbed, fingers broken, snapped, torn off to get at the precious trinkets, the rings that once adorned them. These monstrous creatures take these rings and hold them up to the firelight. The acrid stench of blood and death fill this room. May we always show respect for all of nature. Bless each of us and help us grow in love and unity with you, Mother, and with each other. So shall it be. Korla, you and the Everchild notice what was once looked to be just part of the wall open. There's a rush of air that comes down from these stairs, as well as this distant sound of children laughing. What do the both of you do?
Is this child's voice coming from up the stairs?
Yes.
Everchild will scramble up these stairs, putting no heed to the whereabouts of his companions as he hastily climbs these stairs.
Korla, after a brief, probably a little bit of shock, would try her best to follow Everchild as quickly as she could.
The other three of you, Eli, Fel, and Oskar, you are in the room and you had just activated, you heard a click as Oskar had put the brick back into place. And you heard a click coming from the room where Korla and the Everchild were. What do you do?
Imagine start to instinctively move that way, though with a bit of difficulty, as I'm definitely looking pretty haggard from, well, because of a rug primarily. But yeah, at the sound, I'm gonna immediately head that way. A metallic sound as I draw my sword once again. I don't like even the littlest of sound. This I say out loud to the others. I don't even like the littlest of sounds in this place.
I absolutely agree. We should hurry. And Fel will pull out the kitchen knives that were found one of the lower floors, and she'll actually nod to Oscar and then kind of gesture for Lancelot, the dog that we found that is definitely still with us, to come as well. She's like, "Come on, Lancelot, let's go see what the fuck's happening over there."
He is there, and he's with you guys, and he would follow along. Once the three of you, get into the room, you see Korla, but you do not see the Everchild.
What's Korla doing? Where's Korla?
Korla would be heading towards where the opening was, trying to go up the stairs.
What'd you find?
Everchild, you should wait for us. He went up there. The door just opened.
We better go.
Right.
Hey, that little guy's gonna get himself in some trouble.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
And yeah, lead the way, or follow behind Korla if she's already heading that way.
You head up. Everchild, you come to a door at the top of the stairs. The sound of the children laughing has died off, and it is very, very silent.
He will reach up to the doorknob and ever so quietly, he'll creak the door. Well, he actually won't try to creak the door open, but he will slowly open the door, and I imagine maybe it creaks with lack of use. But he kind of like slowly nudges the door open, peering out with a little eye through the door crack that he makes.
You see that there is a large room that has many, many doors kind of along it. And in the very center of this room, you see that same woman, or what was left of her, standing right in the center, not facing away from you, holding her arms in such a way that she looks like she is holding something, and you can even see the cloth hanging down from her arms, as if she is holding a small bundle. And she sings, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Please be quiet, Walter. Please." Everchild, what do you do?
Everchild watches from this crack in the door. Is this phantom woman looking at me? Or where is she looking?
No, she is facing away from you, and
So I see her back, then?
I'm sorry?
I see her back?
Yes.
Yeah. I will kind of like looking down the stairs, seeing that my allies are kind of like running up to catch up to me, and I just like press a finger to my lips as I look back to the into the crack of the door, that little seam. And is she still there after looking away?
She is inches from your face.
Holy crike, okay. I think that would cause him to reflexively start, just kind of hop back a bit.
Can you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Yeah. Oh my, that startled me. All right, well, that's pretty good for the night. I rolled a 17 for a 21.
So you're able to kind of catch yourself before you go careening down the stairs. And you're able to just kind of steady yourself.
So when I saw her, was she on the other side of the door, or was
Yes.
it like on this side of the door?
She was on the other side of the door, like into that large room.
Okay. Yeah, we'll move the scene onto one of the three that are at the bottom of the stairs after seeing Everchild just startle like that.
Yeah, you see Everchild peek through and then all of a sudden kind of fly back, almost falling down the stairs, but managing to catch himself in time. How do the three of you react?
What is it, Everchild? What did you see?
Probably nothing good if he jumped back like that. And Fel is going to try and sidle up. I imagine she and Lancelot were kind of bringing up the rear. She's going to try to sidle up beside Eli and just sort of nod forward in the direction of the Everchild, or nod upward, I guess, since we're going upstairs.
Hey, there's not exactly a whole lot of room in here. You need up or down. I don't like being caught up here in this stairwell.
Well, then maybe we should press forward and see what's on the landing at the top of these stairs.
I'm sort of gently nudging Korla to move up.
You suddenly hear the click behind you, Fel. As you see that the door, that secret door, has closed. And now you guys are in this small, single-person stairwell with a closed door at the top and a closed door at the bottom. And you also see that Oskar is nowhere to be found.
I don't like anything about this situation right now. Korla, can you open that door?
Korla would reach over top of Everchild and
Everchild would block you from opening the door further, and he would ghostwise whisper to Felethe, "The woman and the child are beyond this door."
And out loud, Fel would just say, "The woman with the skeletal face?" I mean, right. And then she'd look to the other two and just say, so Everchild and I saw like a nurse maid of some kind, but her face was a skull, essentially. The Everchild just told me that she's on the other side of this door up here. Maybe we should try and go back the way we came.
Going back would be futile.
Right, but it would also mean a less likely chance of running into skull-faced woman.
We must confront our fears.
You
Do
should,
not let my jumping show my blasphemy here.
and you're saying all of this to Felethe.
Just whisper to Felethe.
So responding to Fel. But you said she's got some kind of child?
I mean, potentially. I think Everchild brought out a bundle last time, but it ended up being your hammer, if I remember correctly.
Well, y'all kind of left that bit out about it being a bundle from the nursemaid. I remember...
There was a lot going on. There was a carpet. I stabbed Oskar.
You don't have to tell me. I still bear the marks from it.
I mean, I'm just saying that there was a lot going on. Let's go back downstairs and leave this, whatever this is, alone for now.
And as he still looks at you, Felethe and Eli, and even Korla, that are like they're all kind of behind him on the stairwell. He kind of reaches behind him, and without even looking, he's going to swing open the door, just with a push of his hand.
The four of you see a woman standing at the top of the stairs, looking down. She is holding a bundle in her arms. Her clothes are worn and dirty and full of holes. Her hair lays long down and matted. And her face, well, there's no face. It's a skull with hollow, dark eyes and the jaw hanging open, almost to the point where it looks as though it might fall, break at any moment.
I think at that, just seeing that visage, Korla, after everything she's gone through, would just scream, loud and piercing.
As you do so, Korla, you see the skull, the head, slowly turn towards you. And with slow, painfully slow, creaking movements, the woman reaches the bundle out as if she was giving it to you, handing it over. And she looks down at Everchild, and as her hands move, the bundle, the blankets unfold. And you see Everchild within her hands is a yellow light.
Everchild looks up at this yellow light, and it's what other people would see. It's almost like seeing a moth being drawn to a lantern or a candle, as Everchild's small finger slowly raises as if he's trying to touch this ephemeral light. And if he is not if no one intervenes, he would touch this yellow light.
As soon as you touch the light, it flies up around your arms, up to your shoulder, into your mouth. And you feel this renewed sense of power, of divinity. But I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Still good. 15 on the die for a 19.
And I'm going to use the fact that you guys did not give inspiration that gave a recap. I'm going to get you to re-roll that, please.
Anti-inspiration. Well, I got a natural 20, so on the reroll.
Suddenly, you are able to avoid this skeleton just break apart and fall, crumbling down. Some of the bones even start to fall and skitter down the stairs. And as it does, Everchild, you hear within your ear a voice. Beware of Elizabeth Durst.
Then the hairs on Everchild's neck stand on end as this voice whispers in his ear. But he does not flinch at the sound, nor does he jump in a start like he did before. He takes these words of wisdom as they are. And he would relay this one at a time, first to Felethe, then to Korla, and lastly to Eli, paraphrasing exactly what this voice said. Beware of Elizabeth Durst.
Does that
And Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, does that name mean anything to us?
Not to you, Korla, but to the other three.
Does.
Who is this Elizabeth Durst?
I think because we saw the old skeleton in that room with the brick. Did that note that was in there, did that mention the connection between, I'm assuming, Mr. Durst and Mrs. Durst and everything like that? Was that in the note? I know he mentioned that his wife had become something monstrous and that's why he killed himself, basically. But I can't remember exactly what the note said. Plus we found another note that mentioned Mrs. Durst.
You actually did. You found a note in that first box.
Mm-hmm.
And I can read it to you guys again, if you'd like. It says, "My dear Mrs. Petrovna, your advice on dealing with the unwanted fiend in my home is very good advice indeed. Tonight's ceremony will proceed as planned when the moon is at its highest peak, without, of course, the attendance of Mr. Durst. I must agree with you that yes, with such an innocent sacrifice, our proceedings may have better results. Although innocent is not quite the term I would use. My thanks, Mrs. Elizabeth Durst."
Gotcha. So yeah, Fel would look to you, Korla, and then kind of look at the bones scattered down the staircase and just say, yes, so there was some sort of entity, a fiend. She'll look to you, Eli, some sort of fiend, an unwanted fiend in the house. And this Mrs. Durst woman was apparently talking to a friend of some kind. The note is actually in that first box that we found, Eli. And I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that, and again, looking at you, Eli, that old skeleton that we found in the bedroom that you, I, and Oskar went into, that was Mr. Durst. That was her husband. So I don't know if, or maybe her brother, I don't know, but I don't know if she killed him or what exactly happened. I think he killed himself, actually. But apparently she is a terrible woman, or she was a terrible woman. I don't know. She sounds like she must be some sort of thing now, some sort of creature, if she's still present, considering how old everything in this house appears to be.
I'm inclined to say, given what we've already encountered here, that on the spectrum of good and evil, things about this house tend to lean heavily towards that evil side. So regardless of whether or not it's pointing to beware of Elizabeth Durst, I'm rather inclined to beware of anything and everything in this house at this point. It is such a thing that I would like to continue in what we're doing, in checking out the rooms, seeing what we can find. Now, this is, you said the first time you and Everchild here saw this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of gesture at the scatter of bones down the stairs. She presented a bundle that turned out to be my Warhammer.
I
now
believe so.
And now she has apparently gifted Everchild some sort of light snack.
And as you say light snack, you'd see that Everchild is standing there. His hands are pressed together. They're clenching at something on a tendon cord around his neck. His head is down. His eyes are closed. And he is shedding light right now as if he were a massive bonfire. As he's just feeling this light, this warmth in his chest, in his lungs, spread through every bit of his body. And as he looks up to you, Eli, you see that his eyes are no longer regular eyes, but instead these golden circles of like backlit light. And then he blinks, and his eyes return to normal. And he would approach you just with 2 fingers raised. And he's looking at your wounds. You see him glancing. as you see a bit of almost like ephemeral, like almost like fog or mist rolling around between his fingers, but it's not mist itself. It's like almost like dancing light arcing between his fingers as he approaches you. And if you'll let him, he'll cast Cure Wounds on you.
I think I'm standing there. I'm watching you very closely. But gripped at my side with the tip angled toward you is the longsword still in my hand. I'm not stopping you, but I'm ready in case. And I'm saying this to you. Whatever you're doing, I'm not stopping you unless I need to stop you. And
he says,
so I would let you.
And he would say to you in the ghost-wise whisper, "Let thunder's light wash over you." And as he touches his forefinger to, it was like what, a cracked rib that you got from this encounter?
It was a little more than a cracked rib.
Yeah,
I think it was cracked ribs, bruises, banged up. I believe I went over the railing and fell down the stairs.
He brings his fingertips up to your chest, square in your chest, and as it touches your chainmail or armor that you're wearing, almost like the sound of a harp plays in like one loud twang, as you feel this warmth that first originates in this point on your chest spread out and almost causing almost like a numbing sensation all the way down to your fingertips, to your toes, as you recover 7 points of hit points, as this like nice warming numbing sensation rids you of your pain.
As you do this, and as you say this about Lathander, in the moment, there's this, the scowl sort of, and the creases sort of smooth in my face for a moment, as I sort of, eyes closed, almost like basking in the light. And then just as quickly, I sort of, and the scowl's back. And I don't say anything to you, but I just sort of, and turn to Fel. Well, seems as this one's got some abilities.
So it would seem. And she smiles at you, Everchild, seeming a little more confident now that you, someone who clearly understands their magic, has this ability back and was able to heal and help Eli.
When we stand in the cavern of darkness, it is the light of a torch that will guide our way. The Everchild will say to Eli in his ghostwise whisper, as he nods to you after this magic has taken effect. And with a closed fist raised, which through the cracks of his fingers shines a bright light, he will essentially be carrying the torch, so to speak, and leading us out of this little stairwell. He's actually going to be looking down at the dust in this room. He's looking for if there's any kind of wisps or trails made by this skeletal nurse, trying to see if he can follow its lead to see where it has guided, where it is trying to guide us in this dark mansion.
So, Everchild, you're going up into this room?
Yes.
Okay. So,
and I'm shedding light with the light spell, my cantrip.
You open up the door to see in this room in its fullness, and you see it is absolutely choked with dust and cobwebs. The paint on the walls is peeling. There's black mold in the corners. It smells quite rank. up here. Just stale air, as if no one has been up here for years and years. As you open the door, you see that a door to your right, that first door, has a very obvious padlock on it. But you do not see any disturbance in the dust or the cobwebs of this room. It is looked like it has not been inhabited. Like I said, no one has been up here. It looks as though for years.
He even looks to the spot where he saw that woman, the nurse, standing, plain as day, in front of him. He's going to look at that spot where she was standing. Is there no disturbances even there?
None. No.
He will gesture to the padlocked door, saying nothing, just gesturing to it. That is all he needs to do for you to get the message, you three. And then he will move on completely across from it and inspect the door that is directly across from that padlocked door.
Sorry, can you say that again? Sorry? Sorry.
Everchild gestures as he walks into the center of this room. He kind of gestures over to the padlocked door to his companions. But then he'll walk over to the other one, the one that's directly across from the padlocked door, and give that one an inspection.
And Korla, seeing his gesture, would immediately understand what he was talking about. And she would head towards that padlocked door. And as she was going, she'd be searching her pouch, where she would keep a pouch, looking for her tools. But does she even have them as she's walking there?
You find one lone little lockpick in a pouch that was once filled.
She would be a little confused at this, actually. She'd be looking down at the pouch, knowing she used to have a full pouch, but now it's just down to one tool. And she'd be looking at this tool, and she would just shrug, I guess. Like, this is like one of the weirdest things going on, but no weirder than seeing this skeleton woman. So she would...
As you begin to like doubt in this moment of like seeing this soul lockpick, you'd kind of feel Everchild's hand come to your wrists holding this lockpick, and this gesture that Everchild does seems to like wash away these doubts that are filling your mind right now, as he just utters a ghostwise prayer to you. Lathander's light be with you, and he's casting guidance on you. And you're going to get a D4 that you can add to your skill check.
Beautiful. Thank you. Everchild, you make me feel so much better. Kill this. And should go to the padlock and try to pick it.
As you approach the door, all of you begin to hear the sound of laughter. Children's laughter coming on the other side of the door. And you hear the sound of things, of small things being tapped against the floor. And you hear the sound of a girl. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! And you hear the disgruntled sound of the obvious loser and the small cheer of the winner. I need all of you, actually, to make perception checks, but Korla, you will make it at disadvantage.
have a grand total of 13 on my perception.
15.
I would like to use a domain dice. What is my percent? 5.
And Korla, your guidance actually would affect this roll instead of the lockpicking roll. So you get a D4 on this.
D4 on this? Okay, so I'm 11 plus 3, so 14.
And Fel, sorry, what did you get?
15.
Okay. So both Korla and Fel, you recognize these voices. The small, timid voice of Thorn and his older sister, Rose.
It is the children. They are here.
So I think this is something we should probably talk about before we go through this door. And Fel's going to kind of turn to the others and just kind of clasp her hands together. So we found this old skeleton, right? Eli, you, myself, and Oskar. And these children, Rosevalda and Thornbolt, and apparently baby Walter, they, at least Rosevalda and Thorn were trying to get back to their parents. I don't know, and she's trying to kind of conceptualize this. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I don't think there is a baby. There is a baby Walter. Something is going on here. The fact that Everchild, she'll look over to you. Everchild, you took these children somewhere safe because I know you would, and now we're hearing their voices here. Skeletal nurse people. Something is going on here. I think maybe it's time to shift our focus less on saving this supposed infant and more on just finding a way out of here. I'm not saying we're not going the right way, but I'm not sure. And she'll glance at the door where she heard the familiar sounds of children's voices and just say, I'm not sure Rose and Thorn and their supposed baby brother should really be our concern at this point, if they're even still alive.
Well, you are saying all of this. Not recognizing the voices per se, but hearing the sounds of children and seeing the locked door. Eli, you see, is staring at the door and is shaking, is trembling, and is starting to, you can almost hear my teeth grinding as I'm breathing heavier. And in Eli's mind, the sound of laughter behind the door sort of morphs a bit into distant echoes of screaming and crying children. I sheath my sword. I push Korla, not like shoved, but just enough to push Korla from in front of the door. As I reach back to my pack, where strapped to the side is my warhammer, and as I grasp the handle, I just unhook one of the leather latches that holds it in place and swing it down. And without a word, I'm going to swing it straight at the padlock.
Okay. Make an attack.
That is a 19.
Yep. That, yeah. You strike true. And it lands squarely on the lock. And I won't make you roll damage. It's as long as you struck it true, it's going to clatter open. Just a quick thing, Korla, when you recognize these children's voices, you have a vague memory in your mind of you and your previous party, your previous group, walking down a cobblestone street, seeing two children begging for help to save their brother and their parents because there was a monster. And very similarly to this group, your group too followed in to help, leaving the children behind upon their insistence. And so, as the padlock clinks noisily towards the ground, you hear the distinctive noise of shh, 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 as if one is trying to shush the other. Do you open the door?
Eli, maybe we should hold on just a second, just a moment.
As the padlock hit the ground, I'm already reaching out to open the door.
Shit.
The gloom and the dust almost strangle this room. You spot two child-sized beds, a toy chest, and a dollhouse. And the dollhouse looks very, very similar to the house you are in now. You see the suits of armor, tiny, lined up in the halls. You see a little figurine of a dog. But what's most unsettling as your gaze goes back to the room is that the room's sole window has been bricked up. And so, if it weren't for the light of Everchild, you'd be in complete darkness. And as you look to the ground, you see two very, very small skeletons laying on the floor and holding hands.
You would hear the sound of a heavy thunk and probably a plume of dust rising from the floor as my warhammer slips from my grasp. And then another thud as I drop to my knees in front of these two skeletons. Just sort of on my knees, just lightly sitting on my heels, just staring at them.
Everchild walks up alongside you, Eli. His hand supports you on your shoulder as he kind of just like gently grips your shoulder in an act of reassurance, though he shares your same sadness as you see a single tear forming.
And Korla would step up to the other side, probably. Also putting her hand on your shoulder. What horrors have happened here? What is this place?
Fel is actually going to remove herself from the room with the child skeletons, and you just hear the sound of her dry heaving and retching in the next room, and then kind of the soft thud of her back as she leans against the wall and just kind of slowly sinks down into the dust and the mold and everything on the floor in the other room, just sort of staring. Is Lancelot with us still, or is he? Is he gone?
Yeah. No, he's with you guys. He kind of, he sits by you.
And Fel just grabs him like a drowning woman grabbing a lifeline thrown to her from a boat. She just grabs him and just shakes quietly in this room by herself with this dog, leaving the other three to their own mourning, I suppose.
After a moment, I close my eyes. Is there anything else in here besides, you said there was the beds and you said there's this dollhouse?
Yeah, and there's a couple of what look to be toy chests as well in the room.
I stand on my feet, and in all my movements, I'm cautious to not disturb the skeletons. I pick up my warhammer, and I want to check out these toy chests.
There are two of them, and you can see there is one. There's one with what look to be griffins on them, and the other one has small little dragons.
Start with the dragon one. I'm going to open them both anyway.
So you open the dragon one first, and you see there are what were once small children's toys. Wooden horses, but you see that they look very, very handmade. And you notice that there is a doll within this chest, and you notice that the doll's clothes match that of the wallpaper. And you can even see a few pieces of wallpaper torn off of the walls. The other thing, sorry, there's one more thing in the chest, is an ornate wooden box with runes and grooves.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, no, wait, I remember. Every child opened the first one and got hurt pretty bad. We did not open the second one, so we are not going to open this one. But I will take it, and this is a good opportunity to take off my pack that's actually a wooden chest off my back and secure this rune-covered box along with the others in my pack for hopefully later investigation.
Okay.
And then... Hold on, I've just got to write creepy wooden box ×3 on my character sheet. Actually, it says wooden box of doom. And then I'm going to... I've still got this grim look on my face, and I'm breathing heavy like somebody who's pissed. And I'm going to check out the other chest.
The other one looks very, very similar to the first. Small toys that look very handmade. And you see there is a picture. Looks to be a folded piece of paper inside of this chest. And there is another carved wooden small box.
I will secure that one as well. Every child, you're still in the room. in this room?
Everchild is in this room, yes. However, you went off to the chests. Everchild sits between the two skeletons. He is sitting on the ground, cross-legged, and in prayer, and praying over the souls of these two children in their passing.
I say to Korla, because I don't remember if Korla, other than these two, has seen us get hold of any of the other boxes. Regardless, I say to Korla, if you see one of these, don't open it. It's very bad news. And then I'm going to head over and start checking out the dollhouse. If this thing looks like the house we're in, then I want to take a closer look at this thing.
As you take a look at it, all of you here, are you going to play with us? And if you look towards the sound, you see at the head of each of these skeletons a small boy and a small girl. The boy has his thumb in his mouth and is cradling a doll. We can play with this really nice dollhouse.
Is this Rosenthorn?
Yes, and you see that the other Rosenthorn looked very different. The ones that you met outside, they looked very real. These two, they do not. They look real, but you can almost see through them. And their colors are washed out.
At the sound of this boy's voice, Everchild prays harder over the souls of these fallen children. He sits there still, emotionless, unflinching at the apparition of these apparitions. But just the prayer intensifies.
Both of them look at you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Korla would actually, while Everchild is down there praying, Korla would actually approach the young boy and not trying to get into Everchild's wife going around him, trying to kneel down in front of the boy. You are Thorn?
The boy doesn't say anything. His thumb's still in his mouth, but he looks at you and he just nods. Rose pipes up. Yeah, that's Thorn. And I'm Rose.
How long have you been waiting for someone to play with?
Do you mean when we were alive or when we were dead?
Oh, so you know. Well, that is good. Well, since you were alive.
At that, Rose kind of looks down. Our parents kept us in here a lot. They would come and check on us every so often, give us food. But that was it. We didn't get to go outside at all. They said that they were protecting us from the evil monsters that we would hear growling at night. But then one day they didn't come back. They didn't come and check on us.
Monsters, monsters outside the house? Or monsters inside the house?
It sounded like it was coming from the basement. Like way down. And then you see Thorn take his thumb out and copy his sister. Way down.
Well, I think I know where we need to go now.
And you would just hear from outside of the room where Felon and Lancelot are, Fel's voice just saying, "Are we sure we need to go down there? Could we maybe just try and please fucking leave this place? Ask them if they know a way out." Maybe.
Your brother, Walter, where would he be?
Well, technically, he's only our half-brother. Mom said so. Mom said that he... And you can see that she's trying to, like, think. Mommy said that, Daddy had
A bastard.
Yeah.
Fel's voice again, just floating in from the other room. A bastard.
We don't know where he is. He didn't come up. He never was up here with us and played.
Never? Do you know where his room would be? You never
Rose
saw.
just kind of shakes her head. Thorn is copying her. No. We didn't get to come out of here very often.
Well, I don't care whether these children are living or dead. We came in here looking for their brother. And yeah, we're hearing there might be monsters here. But guess what? I specialize in monsters. We're going down. Way down.
Becking shite.
No, don't leave us, please. Please stay here and play with us.
Fel will kind of scoot around the corner and just kind of peer in through the door frame at this, wondering what the hell is happening right now. What?
Nah, we're gonna have to go take care of some things. We're not gonna be able to stay here and play with you.
You see that Thorn begins to cry. Tears well up in his eyes, and he does that thing that children do when they begin to like sniffle and hiccup at the same time. And he clutches his doll tighter. Please?
If what we're setting out to do works the way I intend for it to work, then hopefully you'll be reunited with your brother. You'll have someone to play with. We're not going to accomplish anything by staying here playing with you children right now. Everchild, Korla, we need to go.
Wait. There's there's a secret room in the attic. Mommy and Daddy didn't know that I knew where it was, but I saw them one time before they could close the door. And I think it leads into the basement.
Well, that's kind of peculiar, but can you show us this?
She goes to the dollhouse. And she points it out. You can see that it's just down the hall. One second, I'm gonna remove the glue. And she tells you, you have to go through the supply room and the door should be there. And she's actually pointing to that door that is to the left opposite of the locked door.
Okay. All right. Well, looks like we just found ourselves an expressway to the basement. Don't look so thrilled, Fel.
And Fel's just going to wordlessly, like, just slink back around the corner out into the other room.
Fel,
Are you gonna come out of there, or are we just gonna stay in there all day, or what's going on?
well, I'm already moving out of the room at this point,
great.
knowing where to go.
Sorry.
I'm actually saying to you,
Yes.
are you all right with those kitchen knives, or you want something a little more substantial?
What do you mean?
Well, you're sitting there with kitchen knives, and I've got 2 long swords.
True. I don't really know how to use a longsword, and she kind of holds up her hands. I can apparently shoot fire from my hands now, so I think I'll be all right, but I appreciate the offer.
All right, well then you're good. What about you, Korla? I don't see any weaponry on you.
Korla would actually look around and down. Seem to have misplaced that as well. So she looks at Fel. You can shoot fire from your hands.
And she hems and haws a little bit. Sometimes, yes.
Well, could I maybe have a knife?
Sure, Carla. And she'll kind of, with surprising agility, actually kind of flip one of the blades out and hold it out to Korla, hilt first.
And Korla would gladly take that one. And maybe not as deftly as you did, but she definitely takes it. She hasn't quite got her coordination back, but you can see that it rests very easy in her hands.
I'm just looking at the two of you with these kitchen knives while I've got a long sword in my belt. I'm holding a war hammer. I've got a crossbow and another long sword strapped to my back.
You're overcompensating.
You are compensating for something.
You need to have a variety of tools when facing a variety of challenges.
Speaking of challenges, Fel's going to kind of like stand up and kind of look into the room where the children were. Are they still around, or have they vacated?
Yep. Nope, they're just kind of standing there looking at you guys. Thorn is still crying, but Rose, she kind of looks at you like she understands what you guys are doing.
So seeing that, Fel will nod briefly to Rose. and then she'll kind of crouch down and kind of mutter to Eli. So, in that first note that we found in that wooden box, they mentioned a sacrifice of some kind, an innocent sacrifice, right? And they,
Yep.
it's you know what I'm driving at here.
I already thought of that.
All right, just making sure everyone's on the same page, or at least you are. And then she'll straighten up, kind of smooth down her doublet, look to Lancelot, and then look to the others and say, "Well, if we're going to do this, I guess let's do this. Hopefully, it'll lead to a way out as well."
You coming, Everchild?
And as Everchild's prayer completes, as he has done the long 6-stanza prayer with 17 repetitions of the Ode of the Last Journey, in his mind at least, he stands up, and as he stands up from the sitting position, the way that the dust has stirred beneath him looks to be a sun with its spiraling little, offshoot thingy, little beams. That just, it seems to be how the way he was sitting manifested the dust. And as he walks away, he prays one last time as he closes the door behind him.
Before you get a chance to close the door,
Oh no.
I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh yes.
And can you write your numbers in the chat, just because I suck. So, this almost happens in slow motion. As you're leaving, and you're the last one to leave, Everchild, you begin to close the door when you hear inside Thorn scream, "No, I want to play!" And you hear Rose try to, "Thorn, no!" And you see the figure of Thorn, small little boy, dodge out the door. And he heads straight towards Fel. And all he does is he just holds on to your clothes. He grabs onto them. And he instantly disappears. Fel, you are now possessed by Thorn. So you are a small little boy who you gain the following flaw of, "I'm scared of everything, including my own shadow, and weep with despair when things don't go my way."
Well, this ought to be interesting.
Yeah, so I imagine as Thorn disappears, Fel kind of blinks, and then Thorn blinks, and he's kind of looking around at everybody, kind of looks at the dog, and just kind of absentmindedly, he just kind of reaches out and, like, ruffles Lancelot's fur, kind of like, "It's a good dog. It's a good dog. It's a good dog. So what are we doing?" And he's looking at the others.
Did we all see this happen?
You all saw that Thorn grabbed on to Fel's clothes and then just disappeared instantly. And you can hear Rose calling Thorn's name from inside the room.
All right, well, like I said, we got something we got to do.
What are we doing?
And I'm going to head to that other door on the opposite side of the locked door, and I'm going to attempt to open it.
I don't know if you should do that. I don't think we're supposed to go down there,
This is the way that Rose said that we had to go.
Right, but and Fel looks kind of confused, or Thorn looks kind of confused for a moment. But it might be a little dark, a little scary down there. Maybe we should just, stay up here. There's just kind of looking around like for some excuse to keep them up here. Well, there's not a whole lot up here, but it's brighter, maybe a little less scary. Plus, there's a dog.
You see that Rose, if you were to look back to the room, you'd see Rose is kind of peering out behind the door. She looks like she has that face of like, oh crap, we're in trouble face. But she doesn't say anything. She's just looking wide-eyed.
I think Thorn is going to just like trying to be subtle but failing utterly, just do this big wink. It's Rose like, and then look back at the others. So we're staying here, right?
I'm already trying to open the door. Incidentally, I rolled an insight just to see if I would even have a clue, and I only got a 9, so I figure I didn't put 2 and 2 together on the ghost child.
Okay. So you're trying to access that door, that opposite door?
Yeah, the one that's opposite.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, okay. You are able to open it, and inside you see there are tons and tons of furniture that is covered over by these sheets, but the sheets don't even look like they've done much. It's so caked in dust and dirt. These sheets are just covered in it.
Did she, when she said the door was accessed through here, did she say specifically how?
No, she did not. So if you're going to look around, I need you to make an investigation check, but you have advantage.
All right, yeah, because I'd kind of be checking along that corner and since she kind of showed us where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, investigation. Ooh, I am great at investigation. All right, with advantage, so I'll ignore this natural 1. 12.
Yeah, so you are able to find the same. Sorry, 1 second. What? Sorry, you're able to find kind of the same. You're able to find, this odd pattern in the wallpaper. The pattern repeats itself, except for this one small little panel that looks very different. Well, not very, very different, but different to you, and you notice it.
Does it look like something that would open or peel away? Whatever. Seeing it, I'm going to start poking, prodding, pulling, pushing, whatever.
Once you start kind of poking at it, you can find that it is actually covering over this empty, there's this kind of square, rectangular recess. It looks like that has been covered over by this wallpaper. It's very small. It's only like about that big.
All right, yeah, I'll just kind of, I imagine pushing in on the wallpaper, puncturing it, and then peeling it away to reveal whatever this recess is, and we'll check it out.
Yeah, so inside, you see that there is some sort of switch or button. It looks like the brick that is behind this wallpaper, but it looks indented and it looks slightly smaller.
Now, I'm just going to give y'all a heads up here. I'm about to press a button,
You shouldn't do that. Don't.
and I press the button.
No, why?
You hear this click. And from that corner that Rose had shown you, at once there was a wall. But suddenly everything falls away. The wall seemingly falls, revealing another kind of smaller room with a dark spiral staircase that leads downward into darkness.
Well, looks like this is the path to the way down below.
And I think almost without realizing it, Thorn has Fel do the same kind of gesture that Rose did originally that he copied and just goes, oh, right. Yeah, way down. Yep, that's where we're going. But you guys go first because it's really dark and you kind of lean in really scary down there.
I'm trying to remember if we've discussed this before. Who can see in the dark?
There is no dark when Everchild is near, so there's that, as well.
Well, this is true. If Everchild's emanating a glow, well, then you got nothing to worry about, Fel. I mean, I can see all right in the darkness, but Everchild, if you want to, maybe I'll lead the way, and you hang back a little closer, maybe to Fel to ease her sudden fear of the dark.
I mean, the dark is scary. Who wouldn't be afraid of the dark? But yes, please stick close to me with the shiny hand thing. And she'll kind of hold up the hand, shiny hand.
I imagine you're like holding my hand as it's glowing as if it were a torch and like moving it around. So like,
look at that.
To combat the shadows, you're like, as I'm like being flung around.
Basically, it's very uncomfortable for you, but Thorn is enjoying the hell out of it. It's probably the most fun he's had in a very long time.
All right. We'll start heading down.
So, a tight staircase spirals down into the darkness between walls of mortared stone. Cobwebs and dust are everywhere. Down and down into the depths you go. The air is stale, even bitter. Just as your lungs are fit to burst, just as if you can feel that this acrid, musty stench. You find yourself before an archway that leads to a tunnel of carved earth and cold stone. And we're going to take a quick break.
Wunderbar.
So, thanks everyone to watching. Thank you to the players, and I'm really looking forward to see Thorn what happens.
This is going to be terrible.
So a couple minutes, or more than a couple minutes, however long you need, take a break, and thanks everyone for watching, and we will be right back. Eating.
Hail, Strahd.
Hello, we're back. And so you all get to the bottom of these stairs. And you can see that once you come out a little bit from these stairs, you come to a T. And it forks left and right, but a sound echoes through the halls, through the depths of these dark passageways. You hear this, and it echoes. What do you do?
Well, we're definitely in the right place.
Thorn rather, is going to literally grab the Everchild and just be like holding him like Thorn would have held his doll, just like holding the hand out, trying to find the source of the sound. Just like, what was that? What was that sound? What is that? Just kind of looking all over the place, absolutely frantic.
Everchild ghost whispers to you, Felethe. Felethe, put me down.
And immediately, Thorn stops and just kind of looks at you and is like, whoa, that's incredible. Can I do that? And he just kind of stares at you intently, like squinting, completely forgetting about the sound at this point, trying to mentally communicate with you. Is it working? Can you hear me? Hello? Kind of shakes you a little bit. Shh. Oh, right. Sorry. And Thorn will put the Everchild down, but still kind of keeping close to him in the light.
Get a hold of yourself.
Kind of like hold himself.
Keep it down.
It's just really dark down here and scary. And did you not hear that sound? It sounded like, a monster in the basement.
Which is why we're here.
Right. Got to deal with those monsters in the basement. You have to deal with those monsters in the basement. I'll be back here.
All right. So is there a door in front of us, or is that an open passageway?
That's an open passageway. You basically, yeah.
Well, my instinct tells me to go left. And I'm going to look to the left.
So to the left, you see that the path goes to the end and makes another left, but then there's another path almost directly right.
Are these archways or columns, or is this like when timbers are holding up a mine shaft kind of thing?
These are all archways.
Okay.
Yes, it's all stone.
Oh. Fantastic. Well, I'm seeing that kind of immediately juts off to the left. I guess I'd take a look around that and see, are those stairs going down?
Yes, they are a very short set of stairs going down.
Well, this seems like it's probably the right way, since they said way down.
Right, way down.
And I'm going to keep moving. Yeah, I'm going to move that way, down the stairs.
All right.
I'm going to look over my shoulder and just make sure that the three of them, or four of them, good Lord, the three of them are following us.
It's the four of us. Don't forget Lancelot. Where is Lancelot, DM?
He's there. He's come with you.
Excellent. Got to keep track of that dog.
You see that the Everchild is lingering behind as Felethe and Korla keep up to you, Eli. You see him kind of scowling a bit at Felethe, and kind of noticing this odd behavior coming from her. Miss DM, would you allow some kind of roles for me? Perhaps either like a religion or something to be aware of what's going on with her?
Yes, I would allow you to make a roll. I'm thinking probably insight or yeah, I would say more insight.
Okay.
Unless you're literally trying to feel the magic coming.
Well, I was wondering if I know. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, insight. I'll pick insight here. 17.
So, what did you get? Sorry.
17 on insight.
Okay, I'm going to have Felthorn.
Ooh, Felthorn.
Are you trying to be inconspicuous as that you are Thorn?
Oh no, I don't think so. Just
Okay.
because I think one, he's too young. Two, he hasn't had a body for a while, and three, he is absolutely freaking terrified by how dark it is and the weird sounds. I mean, definitely in keeping with his flaws, he is scared of everything, including his own shadow. And now it's nothing but shadow.
Right. So, okay. Then I'm going to say that Everchild, you know that something. This isn't Fel. And I would think that you would be able to put the pieces together of Thorn grabbing her and then suddenly disappearing and then her acting strangely.
So Eli, you turn back to look at the three of your companions following you, but you see Everchild kind of lingering behind. You see him; he's pulled out a wicked piece of incense that he's lit the end of it, and it's kind of burning this kind of fragrant, nice smell. And he's advancing towards Feletha's, I guess, her back. In his other hand, he holds something held tight on this leather cord over his neck. As he attempts to use his channel divinity ability of turn undead on Feletha, and to try and pull or push this possession from her. And so this is a wisdom saving throw for the ghost.
The ghost. I'm gonna have Fel roll that using your stats.
My +0 to wisdom saving throws, but I still rolled a 14.
No.
So unfortunately,
Nothing happens.
yeah. You can explain that if you would like.
Is there any kind of like outward manifestation of this apart from what you already described, Connor?
I'd be holding this thing in my hand aloft. You can see like the cord around my neck. I'll shift over here. Around my neck is like this taut as I'm holding it, and in my other hand has this incense, and the flame is growing so bright that's casting this huge spotlight, and maybe even a bit of heat now over your back, Feletha.
Mm-hmm.
And Eli is like, oh, it's so blinding. This burning candle that's like a huge bonfire now, and I'm trying to like literally burn away the ghost that's within you, but it seems that it doesn't work in this place.
Everchild.
It is so much brighter in here. Thank you.
Damn it, son. Quit being weird.
He's your son? That's weird. You don't look anything alike.
Something I've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec. I just went Ron Swanson. Sorry. Everchild, quit being weird.
He's not being weird. He's
There's
making it brighter down here.
Right.
It's scary down here.
We got plenty of light. We don't want to get whatever's down here a heads up that we're coming. At this point, though, we're turning on all the lights and making all the noise.
But you're going to take care of it, right?
That's the plan. Now let's go. And I'm going to continue moving down the stairs. Wait. I stop and I turn and I look at Korla. I just stare at her for a minute. Are you doing all right? You're real quiet. Which, I mean, I like that for what we're trying to do. But I'm just making sure you're all right.
Do I recognize these archways?
Yes, you do. You suddenly, Korla, get these flashbacks of you opening your eyes and closing them, being in a daze and being dragged down these hallways. But it's so sporadic. You would you'd be in different rooms under different hallways. You'd open your eyes and then you'd kind of zonk out again, then you'd open up again and you'd be in a different hallway. But this is definitely ringing true for you, even especially the smell.
Yeah, so I think, Eli, when you turn to ask her if she's all right, you can see she's just pale, paler than she was when you first saw her even. And she's reached out and she's leaning against the wall. It's trying to stabilize her, to stand her up. And you can see her eyes aren't focused in the here and now. She's seeing something else and she's trembling. No, 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 no.
What's wrong?
It can't be. No. Never mind. I'm okay. Let's go.
You should always tell the truth. It's true.
I don't know what
should. Don't want to lie. Lying's bad.
I don't know what the truth is here. I don't know.
It's dark. That's true. It's scary. That's true.
You're an elf. Why?
Am I? And you see, he kind of reaches up and like feels the points of her ears, just like, oh, I guess I am.
How are you not okay with the dark? You are an elf.
I just don't like the dark, okay? You don't have to be rude about it. Being rude isn't good either. Lying, being rude, mean. You're mean.
Is she always like this?
No.
Korla, Everchild Ghost whispers to you, she is possessed.
With what?
Thorn.
And Korla catches herself. She was about to say it. And then she just looks at Felethe.
Why are you all staring at me?
And then back to Everchild.
I thought we were going. The dwarf said we should go.
Are you sure? She's looking at you, Everchild. Are you sure?
He nods.
What are we to do?
Everchild responds to you and would carry this ghost whisper onto Eli as well. If I cannot banish this spirit from her, perhaps we must finish this ghost's unresolved business. It is held too firm in her body. My light cannot pierce it. I fear the worst for her. What kind of torment would it be to have another riding you as if you were some wagon? It is not the way of Lathander. And he marches ahead like almost even like pushing past you, Eli. Still holding his fist aloft that has this kind of beacon of light. He's put away that burning incense as kind of almost like a little snub now, because it burnt through the wax so quickly.
I swear, it's very confusing. Only getting half of the conversations you're having. And I'm going to keep moving once again down these stairs.
And Thorn's going to try and stick close to the Everchild just because he has the light.
I mean, we've already broken a record and done 2 rooms in this session. Let's try to make it 3.
We gotta save some to carry on this.
Whoa! Slow down, Jake. Slow down.
Jeez, you gotta make this last. You gotta,
This is
savor
the
the moment. You know,
once we leave the house, it's
you
over.
get given a nice, beautiful cookie steaming fresh from the oven. You know, you take nibbles. You know, you savor that cookie. You don't scarf it down. And
have you seen me? All right.
We continue down the stairs.
So once you walk down these short set of stairs, you see that alcoves line this filthy room, and in each of these alcoves lies a moldy straw pallet. At the end of the hall, a wooden table leans on uneven legs, its surface scratched and stained. You can hear and see different insects, mice, rats, crawling and scurrying from dark shadow to dark shadow.
Gross.
Is there anything of note on this table?
This table is empty, save for the scratches on it.
I poked my head into a couple of these cells and just see if there's anything noteworthy in them.
They are just moldy straw pallets that might have looked like they had been used as a bed at some point. Not a very comfortable one in any state.
Well, all right. I guess poking around eventually lead to that hallway off to the left there. Is that another set of stairs going down?
Yes, that is another short set of stairs going down.
The further down we go, the closer we get.
Are there any, out of curiosity, items around these pallets, or it's literally just the empty table and then disgusting straw pallets?
Yeah, this room is so just sparse of anything.
Okay, cool.
So you guys are going to travel further down?
Absolutely.
So when you travel further down, you find yourself in another room very similar to the one that you were just in. And you see a bucket hangs atop a well in the center of the room. Alcoves line the walls. There are no doors, no privacy. There's moldering straw mattresses. These ones are actually they look a little bit nicer. They're on top of sturdier looking pallets. And each of these small rooms has a padlocked chest inside of them.
Good thing I got my lockpicking kit with me as I heft my hammer.
You should open them. See if there's interesting stuff inside. Carefully.
I give Felethe a sidelong glance, since this is the opposite of what she said before.
Thorn gives you a big thumbs up.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of starting up there in that first room as we came in. Start working counterclockwise and just investigating each room.
Are any of the rest of you helping to, are all of you kind of moving together, or are you kind of splitting up in this room to look at the different alcoves?
Whatever Thorn is doing, Everchild is keeping a close eye on you, as if some like stern parent or some other like, babysitter, like, and then maybe you're like trying to peek around. I guess around me is actually not hard to do because you can look over me. I'm just kind of like standing in the way between you and whatever Eli's doing in each of the little alcoves.
Yeah, and I think Thorn would be staying close to the Everchild because of the light. So yeah, while Eli is tinkering away, he's just kind of like trying to look and get a little closer. But the Everchild, I'm assuming, is kind of like body blocking him, which you could probably do since Fel is not especially like muscular built or anything. But yeah, that's about it.
I think Korla would actually take a different alcove. The less time down here, I think, the better in her mind.
Okay. And are you going to be looking at these chests? Are you going to be trying to open them?
Yeah, I would probably try to pick them open.
Okay. So, Korla, you can make a roll. I'm just going to ask you to make one roll. Same with you, Eli. Just make an attack roll, I suppose, if you're just hitting them. And then, Korla, your thieves' tools.
16.
19.
Yeah, so you're able to take the time and able to get them all open. And this is where we are going to have someone who is going to be bookkeeping, because you guys get treasure.
Oh.
Yay!
I volunteer to bookkeep.
You find 4 moldy
second that.
socks, 1 silver,
5
a broken
shinies,
tooth.
6 more shinies. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Wait, is that Jason offering to bookkeep, or was that Thorn?
I don't know, Jake. Stop metagaming.
Is that what Thorn said?
Whenever you're ready, Megan.
Can Thorn
All right.
even write?
So
Yes.
once you kind of pool all of what you find in these chests together, you find 3 moss agates worth 10 gold pieces each.
Fancy.
They're each folded in pieces of plain black cloth. You find a black leather eye patch worth 50 gold pieces with something fancy sewn into it that I cannot pronounce. You find an ivory hairbrush with silver bristles, which is worth 25 gold pieces.
Damn.
And in one of the rooms, you find a silvered short sword. And then the last thing you find, and I don't know who found this, but you find a pouch containing 11 gold pieces and 60 silver pieces. However, this pouch seems to be made of a very peculiar material. And once you,
of course it does.
I imagine
feels-
it's probably either Eli or Korla that found it.
it feels very familiar to your own skin.
Based on Karen's reaction, I'm going to say that Korla is the one that found it. I can imagine hearing the sound of coins hitting the floor.
Just she throws it against the wall or something.
So, as you guys are kind of getting together this treasure and looking and you hear and you hear that it's very close. Before, it just sounded like it was coming from down the halls and kind of echoing around. You hear this noise suddenly very loudly, as if it is in the room. And if you were to all look towards the well, you see an arm slowly come up and grab the side, and then another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another, until they form a circle of arms around the well. And you start to hear this groaning sound as 4 of these figures start to crawl out of the well. Their flesh is rotting. And they look at you. And they scream. And that is where we're going to end.
Of course we are.
I mean...
Classic Megan.
So can we take a short rest in between now and next session?
Yeah,
We're just having this awkward stare off for an hour with these things. All right, I'm good. Let's go.
The player in me very much realized that we went down straight down to the basement, and I'm at like 60% health.
Yeah.
But I also love that.
Yeah.
I also love that apparently I'm the only one that likes melee weapons of any length, and I'm getting myself a nice set of Witcher swords here.
Yeah, for real. You should take that silver.
By the end of the campaign, you'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
My
18,
pack
20
that
weapons.
my pack that is actually a wooden chest is going to look like the Iron Throne.
There you go. Exactly.
Yep.
So will it really be a wooden chest then, or will it be
an iron chest?
Well, eventually I'll upgrade and I'll be able to say my rock that's actually an iron chest.
It's his backpack that used to be a wooden chest that is now made of iron because of the sword sticking in it chest.
Right.
No, it's the campaign that you think is in fact a rucksack. Actually, it's a wooden chest.
The wooden chest is a mimic.
So there we go. Next session, we'll see how you deal with those screaming,
I
chanting.
gotta admit that when you said an arm and then another arm and then another arm and another arm and another arm, I thought for a minute, well, I don't know. I thought a creature with like 20 arms was coming up out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely discounting that just yet.
Give it time. Give it time.
Yep. All right.
That
Well,
was awesome.
that's it. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you to the amazing players for another awesome session in the Death House. So tune in next time, where we'll see how they deal with whatever abominations or abomination is coming out of the well. And the other question is, where is Oskar? We will also find that out next time.
Everybody knows he's actually the dog. Come on.
Oskar took level of druid. Oskar wild shape. Ho-har.
Wow, that was really good, Connor.
That was really good.
All right. Well, thank you so much. All of these players, everything will be in the description below. Channels, Twitters, everything. Tune in on Thursday onto Mini Terrain Domains on Twitch. Oh, I'm like, where are you pointing? Okay. On Twitch, where he will be DMing and I will be playing in the Forge of Fury with a bunch of other really awesome players, and it's a lot of fun. And also on Friday, tune into Myth and Gears, where Connor and I will be playing in Karen's Genesis game, and it is a murder mystery set in the Victorian kind of steampunk era, and it's a lot of fun. So, tons of games going on. You can find us anywhere on the internet. So, thank you so much, and everyone have a good night.